And just finding a comfortable seat to begin your practice. So if sitting on the floor is not accessible for you, maybe you choose to sit on a chair and just bringing your index fingers and thumbs to press lightly together, palms facing up, closing down the eyes, elongate the spine, imagining a space between each vertebrae as you bring the crown of the head towards the sky. And with your eyes closed, gazing up towards the eyebrow center and off into the distance, and just bringing your awareness to your breath. And just take a nice deep breath in and exhale, just letting go. And just allowing yourself to come into this present moment by bringing your awareness to your breath. Just allow yourself to let go of the day that's been, and letting go of any future plans. Just bring yourself here right now, noticing the breath. And just acknowledge that by practicing today, you're practicing self-care and self-honoring, which is a very important practice. Take another nice deep breath in. And we'll just set an intention for your practice to nourish the body and to nourish the mind, to deeply heal all facets of the self, the physical, emotional, and mental bodies, and to cultivate the healing energies of love, joy, and inner peace. Breathing in. And exhale, letting go. And just bringing your hands into prayer position in front of the chest. Bow your head down towards your fingertips. And slowly blinking your eyes to open. Take a deep breath in, raise your arms up. And exhale, letting go. So we're going to start with a hip flexor stretch. So just bringing your right leg forward, making sure your knee is stacked above your ankle. I want you to squeeze your left glute, tuck the tailbone under gently so you can feel the stretch into the front of your hip flexors, into the front of your hip. And the reason why we want to stretch through the front of the hip is that when we're sat down at our desks all day long, this particular muscle gets very shortened. So if we want to relieve tension from the spine, it makes sense for us to start by relieving these hip flexors first, as they do attach into the lower back as well. And just using your breath. And it's okay if you feel tight down the front of your quad or your thigh or onto the side into your IT bands. Just really using your breath, and direct your breath to where you feel any tightness, and helping that to relieve that tension. And then gently coming out of the stretch, we're going to change sides. So right knee down, left leg forward. Squeezing the right glute, tuck the tailbone under, gently coming forward. It's important to keep that glute activated on the right, which is your butt. Activate that glute to support your hip. And just breathe. And you should feel this gently fade away as that muscle releases. And you may need a little bit longer in this position. Just really tune into your body and see what it's trying to say to you. And then gently coming out of that stretch, we're going to come into some pelvic tilts. So you'll be doing a lot of pelvic tilts throughout this, so just really making sure your form is perfect. So your feet and your knees are hip distance apart, Make sure your shoulders are away from the ears. You're going to create a gentle arch in your lower back, enough for someone to slide their hand under the small of your back. Breathe into your belly. And as you exhale, draw your belly button in towards your spine and tuck your tailbone under, flattening the lower back on the ground. Breathing in on the gentle arch. And exhale, tucking the tailbone under, activating through your abs as you tuck your tailbone under. And you activate your abs by drawing your belly button in towards your spine. So it's as if your stomach is doing the movement for you to tuck the tailbone under. It's important now to get your breath moving with this. So remember, it's breathing in on the gentle arch, open through your ribs. Exhale, belly button to spine, tucking the tailbone under. So what you're doing with these pelvic tilts is really realigning the base of the spine, your sacroiliac joints. So just really getting them nice and aligned before we release the rest of the muscles around the spine. Moving with the breath. It's normal to feel tightness in your lower back when you're doing this. If you really activate through your core, that should really help to deactivate any overactive muscles in your lower back. And just moving with the breath. So we're going to go into a hamstring stretch. So what you want to do is have a band, maybe have a yoga mat. You can also use a bath towel if you don't have a band. And we're just going to keep the right knee bent, left leg comes through to stretch through the hamstring, which is the back of the thigh. You want to have a slight bend when you're stretching through the hamstring, because if you straighten the leg too much, you might just feel it in your calf muscle. And we're trying to get the back of the thigh, so have that soft bend in the knee. Equally, we don't want the toes drawn to the face. Have them relaxed up towards the ceiling. And just breathing into your hamstring. And the reason why we want to release the back of the hamstring is they attach into the pelvis. And if we create more space in the hamstring, we create more space in the pelvis, which creates more space in your lower back, relieving tension there. And just breathe. It's all right if your leg doesn't look like mine. It might present itself back here. That's also fine. You just listen to your body. You don't want to have your foot shaking like it's really an intense stretch. These stretches are about relieving tension gently. We're not trying to create flexibility in this particular program. And then we'll change to the other side. Right leg goes up, left knee bent. Soften the right knee, bringing the hamstring into a lovely stretch. And just breathe. Checking to make sure that your toes are up towards the ceiling, not down towards the face. And breathe. The breath is really important with your stretching. It very much helps to calm the physical body down by breathing deeply. So just really taking your time to connect to the breath throughout these stretches. And then gently releasing that leg. We're going to come back into some pelvic tilts, making sure that the knees and the hips and feet are hip distance apart and come into your pelvic tilts. Breathing in on the gentle arch. Exhale, belly button to spine, tucking the tailbone under. So you should hopefully feel that feels a lot freer in your lower back just from releasing those muscles at the front of the hip and the back of your thighs. So just coming to a comfortable seat. If sitting cross-legged is not comfortable for you, I suggest sitting on a chair. And if you're sitting on the chair, just making sure your feet are on the floor. Whichever position you've chosen, just lengthening up through the spine, imagining a space between each vertebrae as you bring the crown of the head towards the sky. We're going to start with Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. Bring your right hand up to your forehead, closing the right nostril with your thumb. Breathe in through the left nostril. Close the left nostril, breathing out through the right. Breathing in through the right. Close the right nostril, breathing out through the left. So the sequence is in, change, out, in, change, out. And just noticing the small pause in between each breath. And trying to elongate the inhalations and exhalations, expanding through the rib cage as you breathe in. And one more inhalation and exhalation, and then gently releasing the hand. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose. Out through the mouth. One more breath in. And gently fluttering the eyes open. And we're going to come onto all fours to come into cat-cow and just allowing the breath to initiate the movement. Breathe and drop the belly towards the floor, gazing forward. Exhale, round through the back. Exhaling through the mouth really helps to calm the adrenal glands down. So nice big exhale through the mouth. You may want to close down the eyes as you move through this movement, just really feeling out what is comfortable for you. If the Ujjayi breath is within your practice, you can incorporate that now, the sounded breath where we close the back of the throat, mouth is closed, breathing in. We'll gently come over onto the mat, lying down on your back with your knees bent, feet and knees hip distance apart. We're just going to open up through the diaphragm, holding onto the elbows, bring your arms above your head, and breathe in, opening up through the rib cage as you breathe. If this is not accessible for you, you can bring your arms down by your sides, palms facing up. And just taking some nice deep breaths in and exhale out through the mouth. We'll do 3 breaths here, breathing in. And one more, breathing in. and just gently coming up to a seated position. And just keeping yourself in this present moment, keeping your awareness on your breath. Maybe you close down the eyes and just notice how much easier it is to breathe. And just bringing your hands into prayer position in front of the chest. Bow your head down towards your fingertips, slowly blinking your eyes to open. Namaste.